Prachi Joshi and welcome to PMP Prep course. Let's dive right into it.
All right. Well, I hope you guys can see my screen and let's dive right into it. Question breakdown. You'll see 180 questions total, and out of which 175 questions are counted towards your final scores, which means 5 questions are seeded randomly throughout the 180 questions. Those questions are not scored. However, you won't know that this question is a seeded one or it is out of 175 questions. So make sure you answer each one of them with the same intensity and focus. Ensure you mark all your questions and don't leave any questions unattended or without marking the answer, because this exam does not have any negative markings. If you know the answer, obviously you select the answer and go to the next one. Even if you don't know, give it your best shot and move forward. So that's about the questions. Let's continue with the time breakdown. You'll get 230 minutes for answering 180 questions, which means roughly you'll get 1 minute 22 seconds for each question. Now you'll get 2 breaks in between, right after 60th question and 120th question. So the exam is divided into 3 sets. Set 1, that is questions 1 to 60. Then you'll get a 10-minute break. If you want to take it, take it. If you don't want to, you can continue with the 61st question. If you take the break here, you'll get an option to review answers from 1 to 60. Once you come back from the break, you won't be able to see or see the questions or answer it correctly from questions 1 to 60. So make sure you review it before you go on a break. Time is very important. As I mentioned earlier, 1 minute and 22 seconds for each question. Even for, doesn't matter if it's difficult or easy, on an average, you'll get 1 minute, 22 seconds. So if you go by that, you'll have 80 minutes to complete questions 1 to 60, which means the countdown timer should be at 1:55 approximately. Yes, for PMP, the timer is ticking from 2:30 to 0 and not increasing like 0, 1, 2. It's a countdown timer, which means from the time you start question number 1, you'll see the countdown timer for 230 minutes and it will count down until 0. So for answering 1 to 60 questions, set 1, take about 80 minutes because you'll need to adjust to the UI, UX, figure out a few things initially. That might take some time, so you can take 80 minutes. And after completing 60 questions, you should be around 155 minutes left in your exam. If you're not, then consider answering questions in the next set. Cover it in the next set. Now about the break, I would highly recommend taking a break. Taking a break is important not for your mind but also for your body. In the meantime, when you are taking a break, you can use the restroom, eat something, go outside. Except for reading your notes, you can do anything. Make sure you come back within 10 minutes. Otherwise, the countdown timer here will start the countdown time, even if you don't start the exam or if you don't come back in the room. So make sure you come back in the room within 10 minutes. So first break you'll get right after you have finished the 60th question. Doesn't matter what time you have completed the 60th question. It's on the question number. Once you finish the question 60th, you'll get 10 minutes of break, an option to do that. The next break is after 120th question. Again, I would say maximum 80 minutes for these 60 questions. This set is good enough. You should be left with 80 minutes of time left for the next set of questions. Plus or minus 10 minutes is okay, but then you will have to cover it in the next set of questions if you are running behind. So I hope this time breakdown is clear to you. Now, speaking of the time, you can give your exam either from your home or from exam center. If you have booked your exam from your home, they will still have somebody look at you continuously, monitor you. Uh, so make sure everything is clear on your desk. You don't have anybody in the room. You have the space clear, because the person who's monitoring will ask you to show the surrounding and the environment. If they find anything doubtful, they might cancel your exam, or that will just create a bus. Instead of that, I would recommend keep the desk clear, everything clear, nothing at all, no papers, no pens, no bottles, nobody in the room, nothing. If you're taking the exam from the exam center, which I would recommend because it's much easier. So, if you're giving either from your home or from your exam center, you reach at least 30 minutes before time, especially if you're giving from the exam center, because they they have those mandatory checks of checking the ID and doing the security check. It will take some time, so take some buffer and reach at least 30 minutes before the exam time. Now, if you're giving the exam from your exam center, do not stand up from your seat. Do not look here and there. Just focus on your exam. You might have student sitting besides you who's also giving an exam. It might be a different one. It could be PMP or it could be any other competitive exam. But do not look here and there. Just focus on your questions or your exam. If you have any questions, if you want to take a break, also you just raise your hand and the person monitoring will assist you and put you on a hold. So they are a bit strict. So make sure you are aware of these rules and regulations. All right. So moving on to our question types. What all question types to expect during the exam? You will see either of these question types. You can see multiple choice, drag and drop, ordering questions, or hotspot questions. You can either get a combination of all of these or few of these, or you might only see multiple choice questions, which means you just have to select one of the four options, A, B, C, or D, which would be in a radio button. Or it is also possible you get a few questions where you have to select two or three correct answers from five, six options. So that is the most question type you'll see in the exam. Make yourselves familiar with that. Next is drag and drop. You might also see drag and drop during your exam, which is nothing but match the following kind of a thing, which we did during our school days. And ordering question, which is similar to drag and drop, where you just have to order it in sequence, like EEF would come first, or OPA would come first, EF would come next, so on and so forth. Last but not the least, you can get this type of a question where you see a graph and you just have to indicate a point where you think is the correct answer. So that's the last type. Moving on to differentiation of 6th and 7th edition of PMBOK. So here is a simple distinction. Although there are changes, major changes from PMBOK 6 to 7th, I would say the exam is a combination of both. So make sure you are familiar with the concepts of even the 6th edition. All right, so what you'll see during the exam. So you might encounter with both the fundamentals. So make sure your fundamentals are clear for 5 processes of project management and 12 principles, 10 knowledge areas, and 8 performance domains. For this one, ETOS, I would say it is it's good to know, but if you don't know, don't bother too much. That's completely fine. The focus here is maximizing the value and follow PMI best practices. PMBOK 6th had waterfall or predictive approach only in the book. However, 7th edition and in your exam, you'll see agile, predictive, and hybrid, all of these. 50% of agile and hybrid and 50% of waterfall. So that's about it. You guys are doing great for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep moving forward and focus on your studies. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.